everybody wants him in their film.
In terms of film work and stuff this year, I've had a very busy year, or year and a half. I did this film, Primal Fear, and then I went and did a film with Woody Allen, which will be coming out actually about the same time as this one.
This one is The People vs. Larry Flynt. This film portrays how Hustler magazine publisher Larry Flynt fights for his freedom of expression.
This film is not trying to tell you to like Larry Flynt. It's asking you to consider the issue of whether somebody like how someone like Larry Flynt fits into our whole idea of democracy and free expression. You don't fight for free expression ever believing that it's ever going to be absolutely free. You do it because if you don't do it, you won't meet them halfway.
When talking about free expression, Edward's part of skinhead Derek Vineyard pops to mind. His performance as this racist man nominates him for an Oscar, to his own surprise.
I was really not expecting it, but also I just think it made me feel good because I think, not even just for me, but for the film, because it's a kind of a film that I think you never expect it to be a big commercial film, but to have it get acknowledged in that way is really gratifying because maybe it will help more people be interested.
People were very interested in American History X. It ranks number 41 in the IMDb Top 250. Edward majored in history at Yale. As an educated historian, Edward handles the film's subject with care and prepares for his role by interviewing real skinheads.
I actually ended up meeting some of these people face to face more than through letters and things. It was the people who were most valuable to me were not people who were still in it, were the people who, like my character, had been in it and then left, because they could talk about that life, but also what they went through in their minds to come around to getting out of it.
How to top the success of American History X? Well, by starring in a film that's even more appreciated. Fight Club strikingly defines the bored 90s generation.
It was actually about something.
It was funny. It was just something funny.
It was about sort of a generational zeitgeist that I recognized. The complaints in it were ones that I was familiar with and the people that I knew, and it really put a name onto some things that I think a lot of us feel but have not been able to say.
Edward Norton and Brad Pitt are nominated for a Blockbuster Entertainment Award, category Favourite Action Team. Their chemistry on the film set was noticeable off-screen as well.
No, we met because of this, but we met sometime earlier.
Yeah, a couple months ahead.
Before the script was written.
We met in December, I think.
I was instantly attracted.
To the idea of
being lovers.
Fight Club is about consumption and having nothing to fight for. For inspiration on these subjects, Edward and Brad listened to music.
We had this one record that was I think it's very much about what this film is about, which is that Radiohead record, OK Computer.
After dedicating his directorial debut Keeping the Faith to his mother, Edward stars in a great ensemble film. Apart from himself, it also included Don Vito Corleone, aka Marlon Brando, and Robert De Niro. Normally I'd start with the script and the story, and then move on to the director, and sort of, in this case, even the possibility that the three of us could get together on it, I think was very irresistible to all of us. Edward learns from watching his acclaimed co-stars on the set of the score. I went on some days when Marlon and Bob were doing scenes just to watch, you know. It was thrilling. They're both very loose, very improvisational. After the score, Edward is in for a surprise. He takes on a comedic role in Death to Smoochie, him being the title character. Known for his serious roles, it is quite unexpected that Edward gets the part, for which Jim Carrey is first considered. But Edward was also considered for Carey's part in Man on the Moon. Still having to prove himself as a comedic actor, Edward is modest about his talent. It is on a certain level intimidating to be in a comedy with Danny DeVito and Robin Williams and Jon Stewart and people like that, and which is essentially why we clung elbow to elbow with each other the entire time, and we can't leave each other because we both know we're not funny. Edward turns out to be very funny. Then he's off to act in Terminator. Terminator? Yeah. No, I keep hearing that rumor, but God, no. Edward rather takes on the role of FBI agent Will Graham in Red Dragon. He stars next to Anthony Hopkins, who reprises the character of Dr. Hannibal Lecter, one of the scariest movie villains of all time, even though he spends most of the time in jail. His next character is Monty Brogan, who enjoys his last day of freedom before he's sent to jail for drug dealing in The 25th Hour, directed by Spike Lee.
Spike's movies have always been about morality. He's made many, many movies about moral challenges, and this movie is about morality too. It's about taking responsibility for the morality of your actions and the consequences if you don't.
All morality aside, in The Italian Job in 2003, Edward chases Mini Coopers by helicopter in order to steal back the gold that was stolen from him by the crew who stole it in the first place, before he stole it from them.
Well, how many movies can you say that about?
Confusing? Just watch these Mini Coopers go. In Need for a Slower Pace, Edward gives a wonderful performance as Eisenheim in The Illusionist. 2 years later, what seems an illusion is in fact real. Edward plays the Incredible Hulk.
You can show people in Southwest China, a picture of the Hulk, and they know what it is. You can show it to people in Central Africa, and they know what it is. This is a character that literally the whole world has embraced, this story of this kind of tortured guy who, if you push him too hard, this is what happens. And I think that you can't sneeze at that. You have to be very careful with these movies. I've always been very reluctant about them because I love these characters, but I never really felt like I'm the right person to play that role necessarily. And this one, I sort of felt that I could bring something into Bruce Banner. I thought I got what it was that people related to about him.
Edward Harrison Norton is born on the 18th of August 1969 in Boston, Massachusetts. He is interested in acting from the age of 5, and at the age of 39 he stars with Colin Farrell on the set of Pride and Glory. Edward may be reprising the Hulk for the Avengers, but his latest performance is in Leaves of Grass. Edward is also well known for playing characters with multiple personalities.
Yeah, I would tend to agree with that, actually. That's not true.
See what we mean? Aaron turns into Roy in Primal Fear. Fight Club ends with a twist. Edward fakes a mental disability in the score. Derek Vinyard in American History X is convinced by completely opposing opinions. And scientist Bruce Banner, well, he changes into a green monster. One thing stays unchanged. The public loves Edward Norton.